This next panel discussion is a very interesting one. I would like to know what their thoughts on emerging India is. I myself have so many ideas on what would constitute the emerging India. Really looking forward to it. I would like to invite to the stage our moderator for this panel, Mr. Ajay Aggarwal, Managing Partner, Seacom Next LLP. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please put our hands together and join me in welcoming to the stage Mr. Ajay Aggarwal. Welcome, sir. And now our panelists. Mr. Amit Modak, Director and CEO, PN Gadgir and Sons Limited. Let's put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Amit Modak. Welcome, sir. Mr. Deepak Aswani, Managing Director, Aswani Lachman Das Group. Let's put our hands together and welcome to the stage Mr. Deepak Aswani. Mr. Naveen Pishe, Partner, P.N. Rao. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, we can put more energy back into this room. Let's hear it for this very exciting next panel. One of our panelists is just joining onto the stage, Mr. Naveen Pishe. Welcome, sir. Mr. Prajay Maganlal, Founder, Champagne and Cigars. Let's hear it for Mr. Prajay Maganlal. Welcome, sir. Mr. Sunil Sanklecha, Founder, Nuts and Spices. Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Vikash Hisaria, Director, Vishal Peripherals. Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Vikash Hisaria. Welcome, sir. And Mr. Vikram Bothra, MD and CEO, Chandan Retail Private Limited, Askaran Binjraj. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and welcome Mr. Vikram Bothra onto the stage. Welcome, gentlemen. Over to you.
Thank you. First of all, thank you, RLS. I think I've been coming to RLS for the last 20 years, ever since it started. And this is the first time I've seen so much of space and fresh air in different format. It really, looks like an international event this time. And I'm quite pleased to see that. And thank you very much for putting up such a interesting panel. It's like a, like a comprehensive mall. We have all the categories represented on the stage, and especially from the emerging markets, which is fantastic. And only thing I feel there is no diversity in this panel in terms of gender diversity, but otherwise it's a very good panel. Thank you. So let's start with our first thing about we are talking of these days. Everybody is talking about emerging customers, new customers, and how customer habits are shifting, especially post-pandemic. The new trends have come out in consumption and in buying habits. And let me start with some of the interesting. We will touch on both food as well as lifestyle categories to start with. Let's start with Sunil. Sunil, I can see your category, especially because of the health concerns during the COVID, how this has suddenly emerged as a one of the fastest growing categories. What is the reason behind it? What do you think as somebody veteran in this business?
First of all, thank you for inviting me to be the part of this panel.
Maybe Sunil, you can start, all of you can start first time with your little description about what you do, what your business is.
Yeah. See, I run a chain called Nuts and Spices. Basically, it started from Chennai. So we have about 39 stores right now, and we are opening our 40th store in Madurai. So it's a specialty store. It's a gourmet store, basically. So where we specialize in like the dry fruits, the spices, and a lot of exotic teas. And then we have a lot of our private label products. Then our specialty remains is the imported products, the gourmet range of the products like the chocolates, biscuits, ice creams. And gifting is one of the biggest section for us. So in Chennai, in fact, we created the culture of gifting dry fruits across the year. In fact, we ourselves never believed that it can be a 365 days business. So when we started, it was more of an occasionally gifting products like for Diwali or a New Year. But today, We sell about not less than 7,500 boxes per month on a non-seasonal basis, which itself we have created a culture in the gifting. We firmly believe that this is because when you try to go and meet somebody, even in a hospital or anywhere in the family, so normally you spend about 1,500 rupees for a bouquet, which lasts only for a 3 or 4 days. And when you give a box of dry fruits, in fact, it's a value for money and people can relish it for at least minimum 1.5, 2 months, keeping them. So it's a kind of a shift of the consumers also in over a period of time. And this consumers' behavioral change which we are talking about, I think I would probably say it's a boon that we had something like pandemic of COVID, which created this entire our business model into a big format. Because I still, I think looking back, I would realize that people only from the elite categories used to eat dry fruits on a regular basis. But post-COVID, what we have seen is it has come across the category. Even in the middle class or a lower middle class today have dry fruits as their snacking into their house, and it has been penetrated. I would say about it would have increased at least 20 to 30 times of the volumes pre-COVID and the post-COVID itself in the dry fruits category alone. So it's been a huge shift. And across even the imports have increased, and because 80% of the products are imported here. So local is very minimalistic.
So let's come to Amitji. You are in again a very lifestyle category. Again, I've seen again the spurge of jewelry as a space which is certainly booming in the last 4 5 years. What reasons you attribute to that? What has happened? Is it the money which consumers saved during the pandemic, which is now being invested back into precious metal, or there are any other reasons?
Yes, I myself is Amit Modak. I am representing PN Gadgil and Sons and PNGS Gargi Fashion Jewelry. We are in this jewelry business with legacy of more than 195 years. Question about higher spending in the jewelry and change of the customer. There is a continuously customer with the generations together. All time when there is a buying is happening in the shop, almost 2 to 3 generations are present at the same time for the buying. And everyone has got different choices, but still they make a single mind that yes, this is a good, this is not good. Higher spending right now is happening with the thought process that it's a fashion, it's a design, and still it has got a resale value. Because in other fashion industry or the that FMCG kind of fashion industry, there is no resale value, but here there is a resale value. Even if you go with the lighter jewelry or even with the 14 karat jewelry, very shortly we will see 9 karat jewelry allowed by the government because of the rising gold prices and to pull down the demand for the pure gold in India. So that gold, whether it is a 9 karat, 14 karat, 18 karat, 22 karat, whatever it may be, it will have resale value at the time when they want to change the design, change the fashion. And fashion and design in jewelry is also changing very fast. That's why we also have shifted from the normal plain gold jewelry to fashion jewelry, then normal diamond jewelry to pocket-friendly diamond jewelry. Because in pocket-friendly diamond jewelry, it happens that 15,000-20,000 rupees item, and with the resale value of the same value after say 1 or 2 years, because increase in the gold price, so there is no loss at the time of exchange as far as his original purchase price is concerned. That shift is happening, and that shift will continue in happening. And during the pandemic period, as you said, it was not after the pandemic era, but during the pandemic year, and just immediate to the pandemic period, there was a higher spend in the this discretionary gold industry or the jewelry industry, because there was no other things to spend. Like lifestyle or the touring or tourist or overseas tourist and air travel and all these things. So whatever they were saving, they were putting in the jewelry, and that too in the gold jewelry, because it was having a strength to increase the price. Right now we have seen that gold has increased by almost by 30% in last 6 months.
So
Over a 15 years.
what drove converting traditional jewelry to fashion jewelry? Was that done intentionally as an innovation, or it just happened because of market demand?
No, no, it's a forward-looking insight of the promoters.
Industry, yeah.
Because 195 years back, there was not thought that such kind of showrooms will be there after some period. But they started 195 years back, that first their showroom as such of the jewelry. Earlier there were karagirs who were sitting in their pedi and making ornament as per requirement. They were not displaying ornament, but 195 years back they were having vision. So same vision is there regarding the fashion jewelry. I can give you one very small example. If you are buying 10 gram of gold jewelry, calculate the GST you are paying on that jewelry. If at 3% on 1 lakh rupee jewelry, it is a 3,000 rupees. And at 3,000 rupees, if you are getting some good piece, fashion or the design of the silver jewelry item, that is a fashion jewelry, you are not losing anything because you are paying just that equivalent to GST amount and you are enjoying same happiness. And you can change it frequently also without losing that making charge which you would have paid on the gold jewelry. So it will become a fashion over a period because fast moving kind of designs are there, fast moving fashion is there, and young generation, earlier we were calling it a Gen X, now we are calling it as a Gen Z. So names are changing, but their thought process is same, that at a lower price I want a latest design and latest fashion in my wearing, and I can go with that wearing in the society.
Now let me come to Vikash. Vikash, you have a different category altogether, which is electronics. And your customer base, as you mentioned earlier, we were talking, is youngsters and especially students and coming. How are you basically evolving their base? You were telling some interesting stories and some ways you are doing it.
So good morning all, and I thank RI for conducting such a large event over here. And I am Vikas Acharia, Director of Vishal Peripherals. We have India's largest store for IT and gaming. And our thought process towards this is the majority of a store space is being dedicated for free gaming zone, free experience zone, through which we are able to cater and engage lots of youngsters like students and young professionals who can come and experience the latest technology without spending a single penny from their pocket. They can experience what is going around the world from the day one of the product launch throughout the world. So we design PCs also in the shape of shoes, car, your beer bottle, all the shapes we can create and we can deliver to desired people who need it. And it's not only just a PC, it's an aesthetic aspect also. At the same time, today you see this AI coming in, and AI is creating extremely high profile, I can say, weightage right now, and everybody is talking about AI. Now, from where it comes? It's a combination of hardware and software together. So we are able to work closely with students community. We do lots of college events from where we showcase this, and we are able to understand what is the need for today and what is the need for tomorrow. So close connection with them helps us to bring our and build our base also, build our brand also. At the same time, we are able to cater them for the daily needs. So with this, what I want to say is connecting with youngsters for our industry is very, very important. And they are the future, they are the consumers, and they are the creators also.
Thanks, Vikash.
Thank you.
Before we move to innovation subject, let me come to Mr. Aswani. You have been a veteran in distribution business and franchise business. What has been your observation in terms of, brands, how the brands are emerged during the last 5-10 years, 5-6 years, in terms of, national brands, local brands, as a seasoned businessman, seasoned retailer?
Well, there's a very clear demarcation between the national brands and the regional brands. In the national sector, the top 5 brands are there in every category, and people trust them to the core. It's like Horlicks then, Horlicks today, or a Bournvita then, a Britannia then, and the same Britannia continues. So the top 5 will always continue to hold their brand portfolio as long as they keep in touch with the consumer. And what is happening is India, and we've been talking about it right through the summit, that India is actually 29 different countries, which has got 29 different cultures, cuisines, colors, languages, and how we are still one and continue to be one, but the culture in each state is different. So typically the zoning is still happening. South has a different taste and a different culture. Even their ethics and values are different. Sometimes we crack a joke saying that, South pays for all the sins of the North because we are more tax paying than the North. Now, what we find, there is a lot of similarity between the South and the East and the West and North. So most companies are now actually dividing their groups into two halves. So it goes cross this way and cross this way. And as far as Kerala is concerned, we're now talking about how the rural and the urban divide. In Kerala, the next 5 years, what we are going to see is there is not going to be any divide. We are going to be one never-ending city. So the tastes across the state, and that too primarily factored because of the fact that almost every Keralite, or I'm a Sindhi, almost every Sindhi has been across the world. So we understand the world, and Kerala is probably the best testing market for any product in the country. So you get the taste for everything. There's a huge communal balance also that takes place there. The ratio among the various communities is also almost equal, and we live very peacefully as one. So to that extent, the tastes are also becoming almost the same. My only worry is that what's happening now is people don't want to stay back in their state. They want to go out of the state, both for studies as well as for jobs. So what is really happening is that we are going to become an elderly society. And I was talking to you earlier in the morning also. What worries me most in the current context is our consumers, particularly the elderly, have to be taken care of in a very more emotional and stronger fashion than ever. I think.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting insight. I think all of us probably learn from something like this. Now let's move on to innovation, and let me come to innovation and experience, and let me come to Naveen first. You have a very interesting business. You survived for such a long time in this era when the ready-made is suddenly becoming a branded ready-made products. So you tell us what is unique you're offering as an experience which has made you stay alive and growing. You're still going to add new stores. You're increasing, growing well. Just give us your experiences and your observations.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, hi, my name is Naveen Piche, and I'm a partner in P.N. Rao Fine Suits since 1923. We have 8 stores, 5 in Bangalore, 2 in Chennai, and 1 in Hyderabad. Well, Lena, to answer your question, I think it's innovation in product that has kept us alive for so long. For example, let me give you an example. Currently today among the Gen Z, you have what you call as a concept of old money. So what this old money means is they want something, a product that lasts long, not like a fast fashion product which they use for 2-3 wears and throw it away. The new Gen Z, they want a product which will last longer. They're willing to pay a little extra for it, but they want it to use it for longer time. So now we understood that the requirement was there, and as a bespoke company, we started creating product which has like drawstring trousers, using linen and cotton fabrics, and it has kind of pretty caught along well with the Gen Z community that comes with us. So we have a lot of grandfather, father, grandson coming to shop with us. So nowadays what we are seeing is these grandchildren, they want these kind of products, and they're really happy to buy a product that lasts a long time rather than just invest in a fast fashion product. The other area of category that we have seen on innovation on is that we have seen a lot of the clients that have grown older. They seem to be having a lot of IBS syndromes, bowel syndromes, and they have a lot of, bloating issues. And so we created products like trousers for them with, elastics on the side, auto fit trousers, things that we have hooks that can move. So, when you sit down, you need some comfort, and therefore, those customers are very happy with the kind of innovation that we have made. So I feel, Ajay, that, innovation in product, is the most important innovation that has to continue going
I
forward.
want to
as
ask
well.
one question from you because you mentioned about Gen Z. I stitched my first suit from my first salary in 1975. And I bought a cloth from one shop and went to a tailor and got it stitched. And when my children grew up and I wanted them to have a suit stitched, they refused to accept it. They wanted to buy a ready-made. Now, in this age, when we are talking about 30 years later, when my children were buying to, what makes it interesting, your model to Gen Zs now? I think that will be an interesting thing to know. How Gen Zs are getting attracted towards getting their own suit stitched or bespoke suits.
Well, the good thing is we have both. We have ready to wear and we have tailor-made. And you'll be surprised, Ajay, even the Gen Z customers who are 20, 21-year-old and want to make a graduate suit want to get it tailored because they're so particular about the way they want things.
See.
And then there's Instagram and there's Facebook. They have to post all the pictures there. They don't want to wear, since they're paying the money anyway. So you're paying 15 or 12,000 rupees to buy a ready-to-wear suit. You don't mind spending that 5,000, 10,000 rupees extra to get the right one. So, and these guys, what we're seeing nowadays, they're a lot fitter than what they were before. I mean, there are people who are not so fit, but the guys who are really fitter and they want to look good on Instagram, post pictures. So I think that's creating another demand for bespoke garments altogether.
So let me come to Vikram now. Vikram, you are running a 50,000 square foot store in a city which is less than 1 lakh population, and you're running it very successfully. Please tell us the secrets of that.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Vikram Bothra, and I come from the beautiful state of Assam. And being in the business of fashion and lifestyle for 6 generations, I'm the 6th generation one, and serving the people out there, it has been a fantastic journey. I think I was just listening to my co-panelists, and there were some interesting points. That pre-COVID, post-COVID comparison. What has really gone into retailing in India is that, post-COVID, and COVID has taught us a very useful lesson in life that, nothing is permanent. And that's what is catching up with the younger lot and younger generation, that, they want to live now. They're not worried about the future because future doesn't hold anything for them is what they are believing. And this is what is driving retail for us. I come from a town where the population is around 40,000, and to serve the people there has become more easy now because they are smart, they know, and they kind of they're very open to giving feedbacks, and this is what is helping retailers like us to pivot ourselves in a way where we can really match up to their aspirations, match up to the things that they want to have at their doorstep. The most innovative thing, that we kind of do is that we kind of talk to customers at the floor level and try and get the real, live feedbacks from them that what they want next. They have this kind of products, they have those services, they have those amenities, they have this ambience. What next that they want? So, I mean, you are in an era where you can't be disconnected with customers. You have to be really connected with the customers because their aspirations, their demands, their lifestyle, way of living life is changing every moment. It's very fast. So with the help of AI and technology and data and analysis and being connected with the customers, I think that is the way that we really have to, foster ourselves in terms of getting into more and more into retail.
Thank you. I'll come to, I know a few other things which you missed out. I'll prompt you to talk about those. Prajay, you are running a very interesting category, and I think I would say you have created a new category completely. Just tell us your innovation and how you have sort of driving it?
Sure. So I'm Prajay, and we run Goa's largest chain of supermarkets called Maxons. I started a boutique venture called Champagne and Cigars about 2 years ago, and that has been a very interesting journey into consumer insight, and especially the shifting consumer insight into modern consumers. So the idea behind Champagne and Cigars was that there is no standalone boutique cigar store anywhere in India. I mean, there are a few pockets, but they're not very well known or they're not very well advertised. And there was this growing demand, especially with people moving into Goa for a longer term post-COVID. And just talking to hoteliers and the people around that area, there was an extreme demand for alcohols and wines from all over the world. Now, the thing in Goa is that there are 20 liquor stores anywhere you go, right? So how do you differentiate yourself? And that's when I thought of adding cigars to the mix, because cigars is a category that goes very well with alcohols, and there is a certain class of cigars that go well with a certain class of alcohols. And so setting up the store was not just curating the assortment, but it was curating the entire experience within the store. So right from selection of the materials, we imported special wood to display the cigars. So we got Malaysian pine wood. We got humidors, which are required to keep the cigars in the particular temperature and humidity range. And so I think consumers are willing to try something provided you package it well. If I had just done a very shoddy job of the entire display and of the entire experience, it wouldn't have taken off as well as it did. But right from the customer service, so when you go in, my staff will be able to help you pair your cigars with the right alcohol you want, depending on what kind of meal you're having, whether what kind of meat you're having. It's the entire experience, I think, that sells the product.
I want to ask you a private question. Do you smoke cigar?
I do. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. So then that means whatever you're doing is doing genuinely. And does your staff also does that?
They don't. While I've encouraged them to kind of try so that they can sell it to the customers better, but I think they're doing a fantastic job, so they don't have to kind of try to be able to sell it.
How do you train them? How do you update them on the skills of selling?
So in the initial days, there was a lot of personal training. So I used to be there, I think, day and night in the store, kind of taking them through the entire process. So it's a very interesting process of how cigars are made, right? Because cigars, unlike cigarettes, they are pure natural tobacco leaf. It's 100% handmade tobacco leaf.
And the taste on the lips, taste on the tongue, you know.
Right. And so it's an acquired taste as well, right? So, I mean, and the interesting thing is, initially I thought I would sell maybe 20 a month, 30 a month. I sold like 200 in the first month itself.
Wow.
And it's from consumers who never even thought that they would ever smoke a cigar. Never even thought they'd smoke a cigarette. So they were not even cigarette smoking customers. But something I realized in India, people are driven by, or rather they would spend money on three things. Education, health, and status. So
I must tell you how I started smoking cigar
Right.
long ago. I first time traveled to Russia, which at that time it was called USSR,
yeah.
and it was in 1989. And I had a meeting with a minister there, and in the evening I invited him for dinner to the only Indian restaurant in Moscow, and he was smoking a cigar, and he insisted that I should share his cigar. And when I tasted it, I really enjoyed it, and then I got hooked to it.
Yeah, excellent. So yeah, that's basically how they come in, and then they want to click pictures with them smoking a cigar, and kind of show off. And probably they may not pick up the habit, maybe they will, but it's just something that they are willing to try, and that was very heartening to see.
So let's move on to our next topic of what are the growth strategies all of you are adopting, and what kind of. Let me start with Amitji. Amitji, you're a local brand from Pune, and I can see being in Pune, you've grown dramatically, and not only in terms of your reach, but also you evolved a lot of new formats of different categories, subcategories. Please tell us what kind of strategies you built and how it helped and how you sort of corrected some of these.
Uh, the brand has got starting from Sangli. We shifted to Pune in 1956. Then from Pune to other cities. So now we have become from city brand to regional brand. We have got almost 33 locations across the state and one location in the Gujarat, Baroda, and one location at Karnataka. And with that Gargi's fashion jewelry, we have spread almost at 80 locations, covering almost 11 states. So we are no more stick with the only the regional thing or the city-based thing. But yes, whenever we think of the expanding or giving additional choices or designs to the customer, we keep on studying along with the traditional design what latest we can bring in. Just like in jewelry, that casting jewelry or the 14 karat casting jewelry, which has got a very lightweight but looking a bulky thing, that is not acceptable for many days to many customer. But over a period when we start pleading that this is also gold, the same purity is there, you can enjoy a larger design with the lesser weight, and you can showcase it on your wearing, that larger designs are there. Then there are temple jewelry also in both the form, in heavyweight as well as in lightweight. So we are trying to make them sure that your old traditional jewelry will be there along with the weight difference. One is a traditional weight, one is a new generation weight, like a temple jewelry available in 8 or 10 grams. That is a something innovative thing for them, and we are making it possible. And like fashion jewelry we have started, that is mainly for servicing
So
the
basically product innovation is
product innovation we are doing, and along with that we are giving the customer different kind of experiences during the shopping, so that they will get more and more acquainted to us, and they will have continuation of their loyalty with us. Even though there are many brands are coming in the market, they will prefer our brand because product is same, service is some positive upliftment in the service is there. So they come to us and take the advantage of both the service innovation as well as product innovation.
Sunil, please.
It's not my field, but can I ask him a question?
Yeah, please.
There are two things that I have noticed. One is Gen Z. You find a lot of youngsters not wearing anything at all. I mean, no ornaments, number one. Number two is there is an advent of imitation jewelry. You find on any social media you see, there are some amazing designs available in prices at rock bottom prices. The third thing that I would like to say is in a market like UP, for example, nobody wears gold because of the fear of getting slaughtered.
Yeah.
So how do you look at it from that angle, sir?
Very interesting. Yeah.
Online jewelry market, yes, I agree that it is an attractive market, but it's only for once it is attractive. Once somebody buy that item online, which doesn't
No,
have...
he's talking about artificial jewelry.
Yes, I am talking to that only. Once you buy that item without having any brand backing or any legacy backing, and just for the lower price, he may choose it because of the good look, good photography, he may choose it. But once he or she receive that item, from next time they will differ only for the value, and they will go with the branded thing. Secondly, Gen Z, yes, they are not interested in wearing the ornaments as such, bigger size of ornament. But many times Gen Z is crazy about the king and queen kind of finger ring. They will come and ask, can you make same kind of finger ring for my his and her or he and she, and with some specific size of diamond, which will have say 30-cent diamond and 25-cent diamond, 30 cent for he and 25 for she. because that discrimination is still there. Or if there is a equality, they will say, we want same size of diamond and the same size of grammage, but finger size may be different, but in every respect it will be same. They will wear very thin chains, which you may not notice from the distance, but when they will come near to you, you will notice that they have worn a chain. And those chains are generally of the platinum, harder metals, because for getting it stuffed at a lower weight. And so they are also having fancy to wear, only thing, not a bulky jewelry, it's a light jewelry.
Sunilji, you have grown also not because of change in buying habits or eating habits, but also because of online. You said your business has grown. Tell us, how did you cope with it and how do you plan to continue that acceleration?
Talking about the online presence.
Well, basically, online has been one of the major factors in your growth, right?
Yeah, yeah. See, I think, the highest truth I believe is change is a changeless law. Okay. The difference between the change earlier happens and now happens is the pace part. Initially, I believe that any business model when you create, it used to have a shelf life of say 25 years or 50 years like that. Today, but that's not the case. Any business model today does not have a shelf life more than 5 years. If you don't change, according to the market, according to the consumers, I think we are almost perished. So this is one highest truth I think we need to believe, is that the pace of the change has changed now. We have to change with the pace. In the process, what happens is now, when we started in 1999, I think the invasion of the modern retail trade came. And everybody told that the mom and pop stores will not be there, these big companies will invade everything. And then after about 10 years time, then the e-coms came. Then e-com started keeping the same discussions we used to have online versus offline, how things are changing and everything. But today, if you see, both the formats are in the operations today. Now the biggest disruptions, what we are seeing from our perspective of the business is, I think the Q-commerce has really created a disruption in the industry. I think this is changing the consumer's habit in a very different way. Same discussions when 5 years back when we had, somebody told me that why will somebody need a product in 10 minutes time? But today, looking back, when we see in the current situation, I think consumers have spoiled to get product at their doorsteps in 10 minutes time, whether any product for that matter. Today, in fact, yesterday when I came to know that there is a Skoda had a tie-up with one of the Q-commerce to have the test drive in 10 minutes time. So they will deliver a test drive car at your doorsteps in 10 minutes time. So I think consumers are changing. With that, I think it is our responsible as a brand to change with the pace and keep track with the consumers. We have also changed in the process. We have done e-com about almost 11 years, 12 years back. We are in the present and we are catering to across the country. We are sending goods from Chennai to, in fact, Guwahati, even Ludhiana and even Mumbai. In fact, our entire sourcing happens from Mumbai, but consumers still love to buy from our kitty. So that's one big thing. And of late, last 2 years, in fact, we have also got into the Q-commerce, where we are also trying to deliver to our consumers in 30 minutes time. So it's about we changing with the pace, with the changes coming into the market. I think we are also changing from our style.
Vikram, you are now telling that you are also now building based on the success of one store. You're now moving into other cities you have identified in your own state, and you build your own growth strategy, probably in a different way, which is very central or very specific to each city. Or just tell us about that.
The expansion process that we have kind of developed in our company is that each store of ours would have a distance of around 200 to 250 kilometers. Now, why have we done that? As Sunil was mentioning Q-commerce, there's a quick commerce thing happening in fashion. What happens is that, we have customers who wakes up in the morning and he wants a new piece of bath towel. but he wants to buy from me. But 8 a.m. in the morning, he's not going to drive to my store, and since my store is not open, so he wants me to deliver it because he has, number one, trust in me. He keeps shopping with me. He believes in my product. He believes in my price. So it is my responsibility to be available to him right at in the morning when he needs it the most. So we are trying to develop a hyper-local delivery with our core products and essential products within a radius of 50 kilometers, where we can deliver to the person in like 20 to 25 minutes, right at the time of the need of that. So there's one that we are trying, and we are developing the whole back end of that. There's a company which is involved with us who is doing that for us, number one. Number two, what we are trying to do with our new centers is that we are trying to make it as an experience centers. Now, post-COVID, we have found that, the Gen Zs or the millennials, whoever we call it, everybody wants an experience. Retail as an experience, shopping as an experience. I mean, they can buy products from online, offline, any stores. What they can't buy is experience. And this is where we are, pivoting ourselves, positioning ourselves to give that experience once that set of customer comes to us. Be it the shopping, be it the best shopping, be it the best of the product in terms of customer service, in terms of checkout facilities, in terms of ambience, in terms of anything. Third, which is driving us and which is kind of giving us confidence in terms of expansion, is the change in lifestyle. With shopping, people now want, with the element of experience, they want a wholesome experience. Now, we see people coming out in a nuclear family mode. Earlier, we used to see before, if a shopping would happen, the mother, the father, the kids, and all of the family lot would come. At least in tier 2 and tier 3 cities that I'm talking about. But now we see the husband and the wife, and probably one kid or the two kids. Evening, after the office, they want to come, they want to shop, they want to eat. The kids want to play, want to have their own sweet little time. So all these things have kind of, given us a real roadmap that shopping has to be embedded with life-changing experience, which should be, which should tantamount to the wholesome experience that they get by spending time at our centers. So this is how we kind of tend to explore the whole of Northeast. And Northeast being very smaller in terms of geographic, diversity. So, and lot of diverse cultures, every state in Northeast is different. It's a different world in altogether. So we are meeting and we are understanding the local conjecture there. So, examples like, we make use of bamboo products. Bamboo is a naturally grown product. And recently in one of our departments, we kind of did the complete furniture with bamboo. So people started resonating with that, something sustainable, something very local, which they kind of see and use. So these are the things that we are doing with our new centers. There's a very typical motifs of every culture in Northeast. The indigenous people, the Assamese, the Bodos, and the tea tribes, everybody has got their cultural motifs. So in our store, we kind of use these motifs in terms of, murals, in terms of doing the walls, in terms of doing behind the cash counter. So this is all adding up to the whole local experience, their cultural experience. And this is what we are trying to do in our upcoming centers. And this is really proving really well for us. Because, every time in the retail, we talk about personalization, connect with customers. This is how you connect with the customers at the real local level, at the real, level where they come to you to seek and see and understand that, yes, apart from the products that they are selling to us, they're also selling us what we like, what we feel, what we live every moment, every day.
Thank you. And let me start with Vikas and then Prajay and Naveen. You are completely different categories, unique categories. Please share your growth ideas and what kind of strategies you have in mind, because these are unique categories completely.
So for we believe in customers, and they are our brand ambassadors also. So the better experience we give them, it's what we believe, and better we are connected to them. So if we are connected to them on everyday basis, on different platforms, and this helps us to be in sync and deliver and make available the new aspiration and new thought what they have, and rightly said, we also believe in family culture of buying in store. So this helps us to get connected. Even kid likes the store, even parents like the store. And including your quick commerce, or you can say e-commerce, today we are not afraid of, I can say, might be Amazon or any big retail large format giant. We say we are unique and we need to believe in ourselves. If we believe in ourselves, we can win anything. So with that, we are able to discover and deliver the products what is needed by them, the need of the hour. And since we are into distribution, retail, corporate supplies, enterprise, every single segment, so we understand every single segment much better. When it's a time of price, we are most competitive. When it's time of delivery, we are more competitive. When a time of new innovation, we are competitive. So it's important that we are always competitive and delivering the need of the hour. Thank you.
Rajay, you
So,
said you have 5 stores right now, right?
so champagne and cigars, it's a single boutique. And the way we promoted that is kind of unique because you can't promote alcohol and tobacco openly. I mean, it's legally restricted. So what we did is, and this is a category where we had to build the category. We had to build awareness. We had to educate the customers about the product. And so for the opening, we invited Prahlad Kakkar, the Bollywood director. So he's a well-renowned cigar connoisseur, he held a session. How do you cut a cigar? How do you light a cigar? And there were about 40, 50 people that came for that. And then I tied up with the 5-star hotels like St. Regis, W Hotel, had events there where people could come, try a cigar. We'd have wine and cigar pairing nights where we'd educate customers as to what cigar goes with which alcohol, which spirit. And kind of through these educational and category awareness building events, we had these at regular cadences with 5-star restaurants, hotels. So I think we had one every fortnight initially, and then we continued having one every month. And so these really built awareness of the category, and it established champagne and cigars as the go-to stop for anything cigar or alcohol related.
Naveen?
I just want to add to Charles' point, what he meant earlier. I think it's important for all business houses to also know what not to do.
Yeah.
So, for example, in quick commerce, while it's there and prevalent right now, just because of some FOMO, you don't have to get into it. It's not going to work for you. So, a lot of people, because of this FOMO, they'll say, okay, sab log kar rahe hain, to main bhi karunga quick commerce. Sometimes there are some businesses doesn't, like jewelry, for example, it may not hold well for
You
quick
can
commerce.
say that because your category is not a quick commerce category.
No, but when we kind of analyzed it, we said we could sell some basic tuxedo shirts and white shirts on quick commerce. But then we realized the inventory has to be kept separately. You need a separate warehouse which is accessible 24 hours. So I mean, we're still debating it. But we have to realize sometimes you put in that effort, and if it's not worth the effort, don't do it. Yeah. It's important to know what not to do. So, coming back to our plans of growth, I think, after a long debate of, many years, we finally decided to go the franchise route, and we've created a nice, robust model. I'm happy to say we have signed up a few now, and, we're looking forward to going to Tier 2 cities and Tier 3 cities. E-commerce is also started off late, and it's doing fairly well for us. And we're looking to grow, slowly but steadily. We're looking at some other luxury formats that will also work well for our kind of brand, and seeing how that we can deal with it. So yeah, our growth strategy is fairly simple. Grow in a pace that we can handle it. Use the strength of franchisees and investors model to grow our business in future.
Thanks. Yeah.
You mentioned about the quick commerce and jewelry, so I can add up.
I'm surprised that you are in quick commerce.
And there are many requests coming to us every time about the quick commerce, jewelry or the gold coin deliveries and all this.
Suddenly somebody decided to propose somebody and they won't.
But as he rightly said, we reject it. We reject those quick commerce offers because we want to remain compliant. In jewelry industry, there are many compliances are there right now. Right. Secondly, it's a cash equivalent. So many fraudulent transactions are likely to take place in this kind of transactions. That's why we are rejecting such proposals, even though it's a mouth-watering proposal that they are committing that we can pick up minimum 50 coins from you every day, that much demand is there. I said, but I don't want to service that demand because it must be a fraudulent thing, because people are not so crazy in India that they will buy a 10-gram gold coin just on the quick commerce, sending of money and getting that coin within 10 minutes. That must be having some ill feeling in his mind or ill
No, but let me tell you,
intention.
it happens. That sometimes there is a genuine need. I remember once we were having a surprise visitor at home with a child. No, that is another equation. Somebody who just got married, and it was in our far relationship. And me and my wife were talking, like, what are we supposed to give this new bride who I'm going to meet in the next 1 hour? And she said, I wish I had a coin, some gold coin lying with me. That's the easiest thing to give. And she actually then looked into her reservoir and see if you can find a gold coin. So can be a genuine requirements like that.
But that requirement we are providing for our customer.
Yeah.
If they call through the mobile or the phone
correct.
and request us to send, and if they are in our regular list, in KYC list, then we provide at their doorstep within a few minutes through our own staff or our own logistic.
Okay.
We are not depriving them from that thought, and in our that fashion jewelry we are connected with the quick commerce, because there is no resale value to it, so there will be no fraudulent transactions.
I
are likely
heard the
to be
same thing from Vijay Sales also, that they are doing the same thing similar. The customer calls them directly, they send somebody on their own boy on a bike.
Ajay, I just want to make a little different view. I think, in fashion and lifestyle, we don't see, quick commerce and thing. But, with this advent of technology in this era where customers are driving us to do that. I mean, we have been selling products, everybody who is sitting on the panel have been selling products for last 20, 30, 40, 50 years, 100 years. Customers, they really want evolution, and they are evolving. All these models, quick commerce, e-commerce, and fast delivery, everything. This is just a byproduct of their aspiration.
It's another experience they want to have.
Exactly. And as retailers, I think, I'm a real believer in adopting technology. And I think as a retailer, we should not shun ourselves from not adopting anything. At least give us a
Getting into
try.
quick commerce is not adapting technology, by the way.
No, I mean, in technology, not in that literal sense, but technology as in new system, evolve in a new format, new way. Because, I guess 6, 7 years back, nobody was talking about cryptocurrency. Now just imagine the volume it has. I mean, Jio has just announced a digital token of theirs. Everybody, so I mean, the days would be very near that we would shun our real currency and we'd be, transacting in cryptos. So, everything is changing. Nothing is permanent. So I think we have to live with the pace. We start, evolving ourselves in our business strategies and formats.
So finally, let me come to Mr. Aswani, one of the most experienced person in this trade. What do you think you have experienced? You are a wholesaler, you are franchisee, you have experience of retail. Online also you're doing your Amazon fulfiller. What in your view, what will grow in future? What will be sustainable? What will drive growth? Also, I want to tell you that there is a lot of, in fact, I've written an article recently in the UK magazine. There are a lot of brands from the West who are wanting to get into Indian market, and they are exploring possibilities of working with the Indian partners. They have no idea how to reach out to a partner in India for Indian consumers, because the aspirations are changing. What are your views of how the future looks like to you as an experienced retailer?
See, we were talking about certain concerns about the trade as such. When we talk about Q-commerce, quick commerce, one of the main things that is happening now is it's mostly D2C. In the sense, the dark stores are basically run by a particular agency, let's say Blinkit or Zomato or Instamart and things like that. But then what is happening is you are bypassing a distributor who has serviced that particular market for donkey's years. See, I'm a distributor for ITC, let us say from 1950s. And suddenly what has happened is a third party comes into the scene and goes directly to the consumer. Now, in the process, I am being bypassed, and also what's happening is a retailer is also being bypassed. Now, India is a country of small businessmen. And now, all of a sudden, you find quick commerce is going to be a big threat to all these small retailers all around the country. Now, all of them are definitely going to raise up their arms now and come forward and saying, my business is being destroyed at the cost of quick commerce, which is actually running at a loss now because of valuations and things like that. They're able to rake in some money. But I don't think it is a sustainable model. And the other thing that we are doing is, psychologically, we are also making our Gen Z far more lazier than what they are actually. Today, you can't get a youngster to get off from his desk and do something. You know, he's refusing to budge from his seat and lift something. In the process, what's happening, certain manners and certain values are being lost in the process also. So my fear, again, when I talked about the elderly also is, in the process, you know, we are losing a lot of respect for certain hard-earned gains. So everything is coming to us a little too easy. What might succeed is definitely, you know, the convenience products, different flavors. For example, now if you're drinking orange juice, now a mix of two flavors, orange and pineapple, might strike you well for a change. So most of the products that these companies are now doing is, let's take an example of cheese, for example. Today, Bombay is consuming slabs of cheese, slabs of butter. One sandwich or one pizza, you find there's half a kilo of cheese going into that. So we are talking about sizes in lifestyle tailoring also. Now, it's all because of the type of food that we are eating and the junk food that we're eating. Is this sustainable is my question. And because of this, now what we find is, the other side of it, flip side of it is, everybody is trying to become fit. A lot of health models are coming out. You go into social media, you will find hundreds of ways to become slim, go on an egg diet, a keto diet, and this and that and whatnot. So there's an offshoot to everything, but I don't think it is the right thing. I think in India, we have a certain natural process, eat the food that comes from our particular soil, and go the practices that we have come from our forefathers. Somewhere down the line, I think we need to go back to the natural way of doing things, the ethical way of doing things, and maintain our respect and values. I think that will what sustain businesses to the end.
Thank you. I think it was very interesting. I think for one takeaway for me that you know, the small and medium businesses teach us is understand your customer well, and try and see and replicate those experiences, build those understanding into experiences, and deliver those experiences to sustain yourself and to grow yourself. Any questions? Anybody before I ask for the final advice from our panelists? What are the questions? Anybody wants to ask any question? Can't see. Yes, I can see some hands. Do we have some mics to pass on, please? Do you have any mics to pass on? Yeah. There, in the center. Anybody else? You just raise your hand.
Okay, so my question is, like, if you had to predict one irrational consumer that gonna boom in like one irrational consumer trend that gonna boom in like coming years for like next 10 years upcoming the line, what could it be?
Sorry, can you explain your question properly?
Irrational trend that is currently
Irrational.
unconventional. Like we can see a lot of trends going on right now in retail that is what is very unconventional from tradition, despite being like they are booming and still they are growing and they getting engagement from the new audiences as etc. etc.
Who would like to take this? Naveen.
Yeah, so basically there is going to be a lot of new things that are happening out there. Like I mentioned earlier, we'll have to analyze that how we believe in ourselves and how we can take our product to the new generation. And there will always be disruption, distraction that will be happening all around us, but we need to stay focused, believe in ourselves, believe in the product that we are doing, innovate in order to deal with these disruptions, find our own path is what I would say to deal with our own consumers. If we get distracted with all that's going around us, then that's going to be our doom, I guess. If we keep trying to do too many new things, then that's going to be a problem. So stick to your core focus areas, grow on that path, find your own way to connect with these new audiences, Gen Z and the newer clients that are coming to us. I think that's the best way to go about it.
Wonderful. Thank you. I think this can be a very good lever
think,
to close our session with advice from all of you. Yeah.
I will just add up to the question. I think you asked about the irrational behavior of the consumer, right? I think in this era, I mean, there's nothing irrational about any behavior, consumer behavior. You know, it's consumer which is evolving. So any behavior that we see in the market is up for the retailers to kind of adopt and service that behavior. I mean, this is what the consumer has the luxury to enjoy. The behaviors that he depict or that he kind of show is what we have to adopt, and we have to create businesses out of that. Yeah. So I think we, it's an era of adoption, adaptability. We adapt to consumers' behavior, and if we can really make a business out of that and make his behavior rational in terms of business, I think, there is room for all irrationals.
Thinking that what people will require 10 years down the line or 5 years down the line, it's just imagination. We need to see what right now they are interested in getting service for. Because that imagination, even if we keep prepared that after 5 years so-and-so thing is likely to happen, so-and-so kind of services are likely to be expected by a customer, by the time that 5 years goes away and we approach to that 5 years down the line future time, their thought process may have got changed a lot, or that may have come very well in advance within 2 years time itself. So it is good to stick with the current situation, good to adapt the current expectation of customer, and little bit, at the most 3 to 5 months next down the line, future thought process, yes, it is good, but 10 years, it's a very long period in current IT era, because chat GPT and all these things, we were thinking that it's a very latest thing, and within 6 months time or 8 months time, that become a traditional thing, and something latest come and taken over that chat GPT and all these things. So it's good to stick with what right now they want, or at the most what they will expect after 5 months or 6 months down the line. I am not thinking that 5 years or 10 years is the thing.
Thank you.
See, I just want to take a very important case in point over here. For example, Indigo got into to get into the consumer because there was a big demand for cheaper airfares. So that Deccan got in, they burned their hands, but Indigo got the formula right. But eventually, what Jet Airways did is they tried to copy Indigo. I think that was their mistake. They should have just stuck to what they believed in. And had they found their way to their own path to their consumer rather than copying somebody else, they would have found more success and probably been relevant airline today. And look at what's happening today. Indigo is now getting into business class. So, I mean, Jet Airways could have held on to their category and been the number one in their category, even if it was shrinking. But they tried to get into a zone which is not their territory at all, and they completely messed up.
Thanks, Naveen. With that, I think we can close, and we can see there are pressure. We need to move the new session. Thank you very much. It was very, very engaging, and thank you very much all of you for your beautiful inputs and very insightful inputs.